Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on a busy Penn State news day. We appreciate it. Coach, if you want to just start talking about, prep for Emerald Coast Classic, and then we'll open it up for questions. As always, when we're on Zoom, just hit the raise your hand button to ask a question.
Yeah, we were, got back to work right away today, and chance for us to learn from last night, take things that'll be helpful and learn from them that'll help us in the next few games, and things that won't help us, just, discard them and move on. Just finished another good practice, prepare again tomorrow, try and get better. And then, we're going to play a good team. Like LSU's a good basketball team. So we need to be really locked in mentally and physically to give ourselves a chance to win the game down there. So I am open and ready for questions.
We'll start with John Sauber.
Hey, Mike, I asked you this a few months ago and figured I'd circle back to it. We talked about how Matt Painter delegated you guys as sort of coordinators. How do you delegate the duties amongst your staff? Do you have sort of an offensive and defensive coordinator, so to speak?
We haven't. I haven't done it in that way yet with our group. And, it's still a learning process for me and for these guys working together. So that's something in the future where we may split it and do some offensive and defensive coordinator kind of roles. The things that were helpful, like when I was at Purdue, the first time I was there, I brought some concepts and ideas from Butler, things that were new to Purdue. And then they kind of played off of those concepts and created an offense, which they still run today. So me going back there was easy for him to put me into that role because I was already in it. And I knew it, which is different for these guys here on our staff because they haven't worked with me before. So a lot of the concepts are still new to them. So we split our scouts up between the three assistant coaches. They take kind of every other game and go through it in that way. And then I have help from some different guys in different areas. So I still handle a lot of our offense. Trey Whitted helps me with that because he's the closest one to knowing what we want to do, from his time with the Maine Red Claws running the same offense that we were doing in Boston. So he kind of gives me prep to get ready for games and helps in that way. And our assistants handle the defense, getting, with help from, Mike Green and Bo Wagner and Grady Eifert and those guys putting in a lot of input to help those guys be prepared for each scout.
Next, Ralph.
Hey, Micah, how you doing?
I'm great, Max.
So we've seen Giovanni a couple of times here with the team warming up and everything. Just wondering if you have an update on kind of the situation with him and how close he is to fully rejoining you guys.
You know what? With Giovanni, sorry, I'm throwing trash away. With Giovanni, the one thing that, he's back with us practicing, which is great. But he also missed a month of practice. And there were a lot of things that we put in, a lot of things that we're doing, a lot of things that are brand new, which are still new to him. And, I want to be fair to him that I want to put him in position to have success. I don't want to put him in position to fail. So he still needs to get up to speed with what we're doing. So he's doing a good job. He's getting a lot of reps in practice. I know that because, him coming back and being able to practice has allowed John to get more reps off in practice, right? John and Jelani can split some reps now, and Giovanni takes all the other ones. So he's getting up to speed a little bit quicker. And they're, hopefully sometime soon we can use him because, he can help us. And he's somebody that, we'd love to have out there and love to help us. But like I said, I want to put him in position to have success. That's the most important thing for me right now.
Jonathan Drager.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing?
Great.
All right, so looking at the LSU roster, your next opponent, it seems that they have been towering over your players with a 7-foot center. How do you plan to counter that center position?
You know what? I don't know if it's been I think everybody will tower over us. Like it's a matter of, sheer force and will more than size, right? What's the old saying? I don't even know it, but the dog, what's the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog? Like, that's who we need to be. And I say it all the time, like gritty, not pretty. Doesn't matter how it looks. Doesn't matter how tall somebody is. Like, chop them down bit by bit. And that's what we need to do. Like if there's a 7-foot guy out there and we got a 5'9" guy guarding him, we have to get it done. And, my question for you, Jonathan, is how do you eat an elephant? Do you know? Do you know that answer?
I couldn't tell you the answer.
One bite at a time.
Spencer Ripchick.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Obviously, the offense had a ton of success yesterday. How do you carry that into this weekend with big name teams coming up?
We just have to play the same way. Like we have to, and that's something that we talked about, today even, in our film session, was continuing to move the ball, continuing to swing the ball from side to side, and keep people off balance with our movement. And that's what we want to continue to do. We're going to take whatever the defense gives us. But by moving the ball quickly from side to side, we put people in kind of disadvantaged situations. And that's what we want to continue to do. LSU is going to be a team that's going to switch every single screen, right? They're going to make it. They want to force you to be stagnant. They want to force you to stand and kind of look at them be set in their defense. And if we're stagnant offensively, like, it's going to be hard to score on them. Like, they're a really good defensive team. They're a really active team. They turn people over. They block shots at the rim. And if we play into their hands, it's not going to be good for the Nittany Lions. So we need to move the ball. We need to create open shots for ourselves. And then, knock on wood, we make those shots.
Austin Grotch.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the win yesterday. My question for you is, looking at the defensive side of the ball for your team this year, you held Cornell to 74 points, their lowest in the season. They averaged 87 coming to the game. And on the entire season, you're holding teams to 68 points per game. So coming into Penn State, when you were teaching defense, what was more important, attitude or technique?
I think our technique has to be great in terms of how we play, how we're going to do things, our positioning in terms of where we are. We needed to be a more disciplined group. And those were conversations I had right away when I got here. And for us to win in the Big Ten, we need to play a Big Ten style of defense, the defense that is conducive to winning in the Big Ten. And we're trying to do that. We're trying to get there. We're not there yet. We're not perfect. I think, I talked about it a couple games ago. We were let me get my numbers messed up. We were 325 and giving up 3-point percentage defense. Then we moved up to 307. And I think after last night, we moved up. And I looked at this late at night. So, I'm sorry if I give you the wrong number, but we're like 287 or 267, something in there. My numbers run together when it gets past midnight. But that's where we are. Like, we're still not 100% disciplined in what we need to do, but we're getting better. We need to get better every single game. And, I was proud of our effort last night, and I thought we could have, held them. If we box out better, we probably keep them under closer to that 60-point number that we want to hold teams to.
Madison Miller.
Hi, Coach. So my question for you is, you talk a lot about what it means to connect together as a team. So how does the team bonding and connecting together, how is this important coming into your trip over holiday break? What are you looking to get out of it?
I think if they get more time away from me, it's probably better for them. They're around each other a lot, and we have older guys. They've bonded, just through shared experiences of being through college together. 4 years of college anywhere. It's not the same for everybody at whatever school you're at, but you have some of the similar and shared experiences. Now they're kind of giving those to each other, and they enjoy being around each other. But then having great leaders, John's been an awesome leader for us, and he does things to get guys together. He does things to help our team bond. So that part's fun. And now we get a chance to focus on basketball for a little bit, right? We get this week off of school, and we get a chance to go test ourselves and see what we're going to look like, and see, who we are. Because, that's what you kind of, as a college player, that's what you want to do. You want to get in these events and really test yourselves, and that's who we get to be. And, I told them at the end of practice, hey, we're still that team that got beat by UMass. That's us. We can also be the same team that, beats one of these guys down here, right? They're both us. It's a matter of which team we want to be.
John Sauber.
Micah, how have you seen Jalen Pickett come along so far? It seems like he's had the ball in his hands more of late. Is that sort of the plan moving forward with him?
John, I asked him after the St. Francis game, just how can I help you be better? Right. I think, if you go back and look at his film from early on when he was at Siena, he had the ball in his hands a lot. Right. So we needed to get his usage a little bit higher. And I think, he needs to demand more of himself also, of getting the ball in his hands and then making things happen. I think we were a little better last night in getting organized when they were pressing us full court. And that's something that I think helps him. The more organized we play, the better he is, but guys are looking to get him the ball in different situations. And, he and Sam are still learning to play off of each other in that way. So I think he's going to continuously get better. He had some open looks that, still didn't fall, that were in and out a couple of different times. So, he's going to find his rhythm. He's going to find his way. Us putting him in position to make plays, having 6 assists last night was a positive. That's who he is. He's a guy that finds people. He makes them better. And I think he'll make us better the more comfortable he gets.
Max Ralph.
He got starting minutes last night, but, it seems like Miles has kind of been the first guy you've gone to off the bench when you're unhappy with what you've seen on the floor. Hasn't contributed as much offensively as he has in the past few years, but what have you seen from him overall so far this season?
I think just his experience, offensively and defensively, what he kind of, he's been through the rigors of the Big Ten. So he's the guy that you can kind of count on. That he's going to do his job in tough moments. And, he was injured, right? So he missed some time, and it's going to take him a little time to get back to who he is, but he can still be productive in what he does. So I challenge him every single day to be better, be better defensively, do more things offensively within yourself and what you can do. So you'll see him start knocking down some of those shots and some of his trademark big shots, which, he made one last night that kind of, opened the doors for us and gave us a little breathing room. So now I think the more he plays, the more comfortable he starts to get, and, the better he's going to be. He missed, like I said, he missed a lot of time. And then, unfortunately, when he didn't get a chance to work his way kind of back into work the rust off, because Greg Lee was injured right after that. So, Miles got thrown to the fire right away. And he's got to play himself where the other guys are, but he'll get there.
We'll do 2 more questions, first with Dave Melandra, and then we'll end with Spencer Ripchick.
Hey, Coach, got a 2-part question for you. One, what has impressed you most about your team so far through 3 games? And secondly, when you first look at LSU, what are some of the challenges that they will present to you?
Dave, I'm going to answer this by asking you a 2-part question. You said through 3 games. Does that mean I only get to talk about the 3 wins? Because if I could throw out that UMass game, I'd be a happy man right now. I'm just excited about like the growth of our team. Like every single day we come in and try and get better, and we work to get better. And that's, you see that. And I think hopefully, from the outside, you can see the progress that we've made, and there's still a long way to go. But we're trying to get better. And, the schedule hasn't helped us in terms of how we've played, the teams we've played and the styles that they play. Like not one of them has been the same. So like how we guarded last night, like I didn't even watch the defensive side of the ball because we're never going to guard like that again. Like nobody else is playing the Princeton offense that we played this season. So like it doesn't help us. Like our effort in transition, our rebounding, those things could help us, but nothing else. So being able to learn from film, being able to learn from practice, that's what I'm most excited about with this group. LSU's a challenge just in terms of like they are a big, long, aggressive team, right? And I told our guys, number one, like you want to beat LSU. That was question number one. I was like, here's how you do it. A, B, C. Now, let's go out and focus on those things to help us beat LSU. That should be the only things on our mind as we pack and go on this trip. It's like, what do I need to do to beat LSU? And, hopefully they're doing that. Hopefully they're packing. Hopefully they're packing their hard hats because we're going to need them.
Last question is Spencer.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday you got some of the younger players involved. Do you think you'll continue to do that even with some tougher competition coming up?
Yeah, that's my goal every game. And, I want to find more time for Dalian and, even Caleb. Like Caleb, has been a little behind with his development in terms of, being healthy. But like you got to find opportunities for Dalian, but those guys got to make their opportunities, right? Like we practice every day. Like they have to force me to play them by how they practice. And, for a young guy, those are the challenges that you kind of run into is, you have older guys in front of you and older guys who don't always want to come off the court and practice. Like, how do you get out there? How do you be productive in what you do in practice? And I think that's the biggest thing. And then like find them minutes when you can, because there's going to be a game that Dalian's going to help us win. Right. Like it's going to happen at some point in time. So we need to find the minutes each game and help him grow as a player so he's comfortable when that time comes. So that's what we're going to try and do each and every game. I wanted to play him more, but the situation didn't quite dictate it yesterday. Some of the older guys were playing well, so his kind of opportunity was limited. But we're going to try every game to give those younger guys an opportunity.
Great. Thank you, Coach.